students are criminalized or made to be criminals throughout the process of discipline in schools, and they're not given alternative pathways to be successful. It kind of sets them up to be non-graduates, or they end up in juvenile hall, and they end up on the pathway that means they'll be in prison.
Right.
So, restorative justice is an approach to discipline, really, I would say. An approach to discipline that allows the student to still feel like they're part of something and to still value them as a person and not ostracize them.
A lot of the students that receive these harsh consequences, although they may be perfectly appropriate, it generally doesn't give the student a reentry plan. It doesn't really allow the student to feel like anybody's caring for him. And so sometimes that exacerbates the problem. So I think restorative justice has its high points in that the student is on campus, doesn't lose the missing opportunities, learning opportunities, but that there's absolutely an opportunity to discuss the situation, the behavior, and appropriate alternatives to that behavior, and that there's an opportunity to kind of repair the harm that's done, repair the damage that's been done.
Restorative justice to me is about relationships. And relationships, and great teachers and people kind of know this with mentoring coaches, when you have a great relationship with someone, it doesn't mean that you don't hold them accountable, that you're not going to have high expectations, so there's no consequence, there's no punishment. What happens when there's a story that's told and it connects, and like, oh, I'm connected to you with story and I to you. Rules of consequences, they kind of disappear, not because we don't want to hold them accountable, but then there's this, oh, I understand. That's the relationship component that changes it, right? There's still rules, right? But the schools are built on rules. But I think it's the relationships, meaningful relationships, and how we approach students, leveraging those relationships, building those relationships where we break the rules for them so that they won't break the rules that are set up.
Restorative justice?
Yeah, well, that's the solution.
Is that the solution? I think it is not working the way it's supposed to be working, particularly at our high school. My understanding is there are other things to do with restorative justice besides circles. I feel that it is definitely something that is wasting our time versus being a proactive solution to discipline problems. I can see it from the perspective of a dean. I was a dean about 10 years ago where restorative justice was not in play, and we were able to suspend students for infractions such as fighting, such as threatening the teacher, threatening another student, bullying, arriving to school under the influence, getting high or drunk during class hours. Due to restorative justice, now they want us just to talk to the children and to hold a circle and converse with them about why are they doing these things, even if it's a multiple offender. I'm very old school. I think that strong discipline is best, and that does include suspending the student. It's not looking at suspension as giving them a day off for bad behavior. It's more like now the parent is forced to parent.
That's the same dichotomy that existed when I was in elementary school, and I've never been to prison. So responding to bells, having to line up, having some standards, having to have some decorum are the things that help to lay the foundation of where myself and many other people have used to become professional. What has been lost is using parents along with school administration to discipline kids. That no longer exists because in most homes, parents and kids are friends. There's no division between parent and child. I do not think that restorative justice is viable. I think that they've probably taken a percentage of kids and conducted some studies, and now that becomes the hottest, new trend for getting kids to adhere to some standards and another means of discipline. But all these things are foreign to me. I've never heard of restorative justice until I became a school teacher, And I think that you just have a healthy disrespect for people who are in authority positions.